It's always a little bit painful when you die in a game, especially if you haven't saved. Yes, we've all endured the struggle and the heartbreak. But sometimes dying can be bittersweet. Sometimes your death can be so absurd, so ridiculous, so wonderfully dumb that it makes those pangs much more comical than tragic. So today we're taking a look at one of those game franchises that has many the opportunity to die in a hilariously dumb way. Zelda. And heads up, we'll be a little bit heavy on Breath of the Wild since a lot of people have been sharing their silly deaths in the game online these days, because it's real easy to die. There's a lot out there that can kill you. So with that in mind, let's jump in. Number 10 is MUTT. So in The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, there's a dog named MUTT that will attack you if you attack him first. He only causes 1 heart of damage, but sometimes that's all it takes to kill you if you're low on health. Even Nintendo thinks death by MUTT is a silly way to go. In The Link's Awakening Nintendo's player guide on page 97 concerning MUTT, it reads, "This little dog found in the Mabe village will chomp your ankle if you hit him. The lesson here is to not hit him. Be nice to domestic animals." I think we should all heed Nintendo's advice here. And at number 9 is Falling. Nothing like a ragdolling Link to make your false sense of security in this game completely non-existent. And falling off buildings and towers? Well, as you can see in this video from original 151, towers can get a bit tricky. Up next, number 8 is Snowball. So this one comes from gameplay from Nintendo Unity. While we'll be touching on other weather-related injuries later on, this one is actually a death that comes at you when you're traversing the snowier landscapes of the game. Death by a massive snowball. Surprise! Feels like it's almost coming out of a cartoon. And it's oh so funny. What a beautiful game. And at number 7 is Slip and Slide. Alright, we've all been there. It's raining out, you're wearing shoes that aren't really suitable for the weather, maybe they just don't have good grip, and you walk on a surface that's slick with water and wham! You fall. Okay, so now let's see how that plays out in Breath of the Wild when climbing a mountain, courtesy of Nintendo Unity again. Yeah. Makes sense. Up next, number 6 is trees. Death by tree trunk. Whether it's because one has been thrown at you, you fall off of one, or gravity's just being a tricky minx, trees are just more deadly than one would initially assume. Wooden fatalities. What fun. And at number 5 is It's Chilly Out. One of the more hilarious ways to die that many players quickly discovered when they started playing Breath of the Wild was that you can die from the cold.
Ooh, it's a wee bit nipply out, lad. Oh yeah, and the cold can kill you. Confirmed.
Staying out in the cold climate will cause you to sustain damage early on in the game if you don't have the warm doublet. While it's wonderfully realistic, there's something innately funny about Link stopping in his tracks and dying on the spot just because he's cold. And at number 4 is New Horse. Horses sometimes have a tendency to mess with your vibe and kill you. Reddit user Cindawin posted about a bit of trouble they had with their newly tamed horse when climbing a tower. After robots start firing at them, they decide to hop on their horse and escape. And this is what happens. I quote, "My horse then decides to take a 180 turn and run back towards the robot chasing me. The robot hits my horse, thus lighting her on fire. I die of being burned to death, and my horse just stands there on fire, eating grass." And at number 3 is Goat Tumble. Speaking of animals, here we have death by goat. But it's not just a goat. Oh no. That's embarrassing, but not enough for this goat. This goat wants you to feel shame. The shame of being headbutt, then rolling down a hill. Yep. Moving on. Up next, number 2 is Drowning. There's plenty of game out there where immediate death by water is very much a thing. Looking at you, Batman. And turns out that's nothing new for Breath of the Wild. While yes, you can manage to swim a little bit and stay above water and live, ever so slightly, if you drop in and you get submerged, well, it's game over. And finally, in at number 1 is Cucco's Revenge Squad. And it doesn't matter which game in the franchise it is. The dumbest and most embarrassing way to die by far is by Cucco, because it's also your own fault for provoking them, or provoking one. And not by accidentally hitting them. You gotta put the effort in. You're whacking that thing for a while. Let's take a look at some examples. The Cuccos first appeared in Link to the Past, and ever since, hitting one excessively prompts the Cucco Revenge Squad, and leaves you having to fight off a bunch of indestructible chickens. And if you don't flee, you'll probably most likely die. 100% actually. There's no coming back from that. There we have it, friends. What are other dumb ways to die in Zelda that you love? Do you have any of your own that you'd like to share? Give us a shout in those comments below, and as always, if you dug this video, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. But for now, I've been Kelly Pally for Top 10 Gaming, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.